can tell us a little bit about what mistakes or what things that happened in the 60s that we can do differently around this particular movement so that we don't have to have this conversation again in 30 years?
Don't trust nonprofits. Don't trust the nonprofits at all.
Politicians.
Or the politicians. Like when we went up to Baltimore 2 weeks ago, the media is portraying it as all these youth are going crazy and they're burning down stuff. They burned down one building and they might have looted a few buildings. But for the most part, the nonprofits and the politicians have swarmed in and convinced the youth in all ages that this indictment process is a good thing, that they're winning, and that they need to abide by the curfew, and that they should do this and do that. And it's like, they created a wedge now, you know what I'm saying? They allowed, they stepped into the space for the politicians and the powers that be to where they don't have to interact with the people anymore. When you have civil disobedience in the streets, that's like, where the shit hits the fan, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to make this better, you got to come to our level and communicate with us on whatever needs to be communicated with. Since the nonprofits and the politicians are there, they've created a space to where all they got to do is communicate with them and dump resources into them, and they never have to see us. Which is why in Ferguson, if you guys have been keeping up with what's going on now, the big thing is like dismantling all the nonprofits. The big names where in December, if there was a panel discussion in Kansas City, they would be telling you to funnel money into, or to donate to these different organizations to help this effort. Now they're being destroyed right in front of our eyes. So it's like we got groups in Ferguson who are trying to lead by example as to what we feel the rest of the nation needs to be doing. And it's like let's get rid of them, because like the enemy, it's like it's too hard for all of us to agree on what the enemy is. You know what I'm saying? So one way we can make the enemy more clear is to get rid of this extra shit so that everybody can see what the real issue is. You won't be thinking about legislation and concessions and all of these things once you really get to the bottom line of what has to be done and who the enemy is and how long they've been doing this. And they're only in power because of all of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's my take on it. Get rid of them. We can't blow up too big. The Black Panthers blew up really big. You know, the day Huey and Bobby and few other members that were with them showed up to that call with their weapons. The neighbors were radicalized. They wanted to be down with these new dudes, you know what I'm saying? These guys are protectors and leaders. And once they blew up, they weren't able to keep the same level of security that they had with the small group. So I think we should be more careful about who's privy to certain conversations and who we allow in certain spaces. And just because you're black, don't mean you down for the revolution. I didn't live in the 60s and 70s, but from the outside looking in, it's just like if you was black, you was down, you know what I'm saying? And in 2015, I'm not with that. You gotta be, it's more than just that. And I know some white folks that ride for me harder right now than a lot of black folks will. So getting rid of some of the color layers, but still not undermining the racial issues though at the same time.
Can I ask a question? You know, you heard in the news that in Baltimore that the different gang fractions decided to work together. How does it play out in Ferguson?
That was a lie. That wasn't even real. Those gangs in Baltimore are like, I'm still smoking him if I see him out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not linking up together. And then you gotta also understand, like, the gang culture there isn't as big as it is in Missouri, like St. Louis and Kansas City. Like when the gangs came from the West Coast, they actually came here. Like if we got a chapter of the Crips in Kansas City, I'm sure they got let in by OG from the West Coast. The East Coast, that gang mentality and the real culture of it never traveled out there. The only ideology of the gang culture that they have comes from movies and music. So it's not real. It's not. Their gang conflict isn't as strong as stuff as ours. Now in Ferguson, it's like, it's hard to see that happening right now, you know what I'm saying? Just because there's so much bullshit going on. We've been out in the streets protesting for 9-10 months now. People haven't seen results from it besides a low-level official being fired. Darren Wilson's a millionaire. So people are internalizing their oppression and dishing it out on each other. And that's all they can see right now, you know what I'm saying? And realistically, I think the only way we can get those kinds of like connections between the gangs, like Ferguson and St. Louis specifically, I think that's when the resources might come in. Like, I grew up here in Kansas City, and I was thinking earlier, like, what about if we like punked all these big mega churches around here, like Sheffield, Family Life Center, like IHOP, like all these big churches, and you compensate these gangs for what they make, what they're doing illegally. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like maybe that's a way to bridge the gap between that, but it's gonna be hard to like tell somebody to stop selling drugs and they don't know what they're gonna eat tomorrow, or they can't eat tomorrow.